Hi, welcome everybody to Business Statistics. This is unit number 3, revision questions. Feedback on your Excel. I think everybody did very well. And anyways, I mean, there isn't much feedback that I can give you because you just follow my video. But let's go through the questions because these questions, you are gonna follow them and you're gonna, well, you have to read them, you have to do them, and they are very similar questions throughout your exam. So first of all, the question number 1, let me put my pointer very quickly. Give me 1 second. So here, yeah. 6 properties of a data set. So first of all, represents a list of numbers, right? That's how the data it is. Numbers are univariate, quantitative. 3, they show a picture of data values, in a glance, very quickly. They show concentration of numbers, where the numbers mostly rely on. They include unusual values or outliers. They show also the lowest values, and the data can also be normally distributed or skewed. So usually those are 6 properties or 6 things that we can see in a data set that are displayed by a histogram. Second, what is the difference between a histogram and a bar chart? Remember, bar chart looks at individuals, have spaces, and then we, like I said, the axes are different. In a histogram, we show more of the frequency of the numbers happening, and in the x-axis, in the y-axis, we're gonna see both numbers. Okay, what is a normal distribution? A normal distribution is where we see that the data is mostly evenly distributed, and it can be cut in half, so we can see exactly the same amount of numbers to the right side of the data and on the left side as well. Why is the normal distribution important in statistics? This is mainly because it helps us to calculate all the measurements in a more accurate way. So remember, in a skew distribution is when we don't have the numbers equally distributed, and it's difficult to use the units of measurement such as the mean, the median, the mode, and so many other. In the future, we're going to see more, so that gets more complicated over time. Are all data sets normally distributed? No, they are not all normally distributed. Actually, most of the time they are skewed. Okay, and then what is a skew distribution is when the curve leans towards one side or the other. Why? Because there are some outliers or there's some numbers pulling that data. Okay, what is the main problem with skewness? How can it be solved? In some cases, what problem with the skewness again is we cannot calculate all the measurements accurately. And how can we solve it? In some cases, we can do the logarithm. We can remove the numbers, means the outliers, and simple as that. Number 7, how can you interpret the logarithm of a number? It's very simple. It is just another name for the same number. So in this case, the logarithm is just a multiplication of the number, and then it gives us a decimal number. That is just another name for the same number. Okay, a bimodal distribution is, remember, when we have 2 groups of numbers, remember, they must be separated by enough. The length of the gap should be sufficient enough and must be cohesive, meaning we have large numbers sufficiently in both groups, and when we find one, we should treat them as different groups, meaning group A and group B, rather than saying, oh, this is a skew date. Remember, they must be big enough. One is an outlier, and why is important in a report to explain how you dealt with an outlier. So an outlier is a number that doesn't belong, whether it was because it's large enough or low enough, or because it doesn't belong there because it was a mistake. And we have to either remove it or ignore it, and we have to deal in a report with it by writing we removed it because it was causing this trouble, or we cannot measure accurately, and that's the reason why we remove it or we ignore it. And again, what kinds of trouble outliers cause? They cause skewness in the data, as simple as that. Okay, so that covers all the questions of the unit number 3. I think most of you know it all very well because when you're taking your notes, you're already answering these questions. Thank you so much. If you have any further questions, do let me know. You can either send me cacao or any other means. Thank you so much.